Okay, hi everyone and welcome aboard. So today we are going to look at the lesson plan for physiotherapy in gerontology PhD 554, and this course will be offered from October 2020 to February 2021. Okay, so the lecturers or the instructors for this course will be myself, Dr. Maria Justin, and for the other group, the other half of the group will be lectured by Dr. Azliana. So what is physiotherapy in gerontology? Okay, this area of study focuses on the implications of an aging population on the various issues of aging, especially on the healthcare delivery and the community, the changes occurring in normal aging, pathologies and syndromes associated with aging, evaluations of physiotherapy management, emphasizing assessment and outcome measures, and the need to identify advances in gerontology and relate this topic to practices. The case studies that will be given during each lecture and the practical sessions will develop students' skill in critical thinking to solve geriatric problems and plan, as well as design appropriate interventions in areas such as balance and mobility and independence. Evidence-based practice physiotherapy management will be introduced in the implementations of treatment or intervention, as well as in the implementations of community outreach program to the. So basically, our course learning outcomes is that once you successfully complete this course, you should be able to describe the issues in aging in Malaysia, ethics in the care of the elderly, that is also included. Number 2 is to describe the applications of theories of aging and model of service delivery in older persons. Number 3, you should be able to describe the aging physiological effects and the typical changes in the functional capacity of elderly people and its clinical implications. Number 4, you should be able to identify issues in geriatric pharmacology in relation to rehabilitations. And finally, you should be able to implement safe and effective evidence-based physiotherapy evaluations, diagnosis and plan of care with a client-centered focus for all the persons with impairments and those at risk of falls, including the needs for exercise and physical activity recommendations. However, due to the current pandemic, that we have to deliver our lessons via open and distance learning, we have to modify the learning outcomes that will be in tandem or that will actually be covered during the pandemic. So we have changed the learning outcomes to we actually compress the learning outcomes to only about 3. Okay, so these learning outcomes will be implemented only for students registered for October 2020 to February 2021. So number 1 is to be able to discuss the aging theories and models of service delivery, ethical issues, physiological changes, the clinical implications, hospitalizations, and pharmacology in elderly. Number 2, students should be able to analyze the assessments for impairment, functions, disability, and falls and exercise recommendations in older people. And number 3 is to design a community engagement program for the elderly. So you will see that this is actually slightly different from the original learning outcomes, and of course there will also be changes in the types of assessment. Definitely there won't be any interactions with real persons. You know, they will it won't involve a face-to-face meeting with older clients when we are implementing community engagement, but this has to be innovated creatively on how we can actually deliver our perspective or our outreach, our program to the older person. So this is embedded in the third assignment. So what are the contents that is gonna be covered during the whole semester? Okay, we have about 11 chapters. Okay, so chapter 1 is the introductions to the aging, and this will be taught in week 1. Okay, so these are the contents of chapter 1, and the this topic will be tested in test 1. And then the next chapter, chapter 2, is on theories of aging and models of service delivery, will be taught in week 2. Okay, and the understanding will be tested in test 1. Next is chapter 3, is on physiology of aging, that will be lectured or will be discussed in week 3 via ODL and some video presentations, and the understanding will be tested in test 1. Next is on chapter 4, we'll be talking about the clinical implications of aging in week 4. So basically this chapter will be discussing about the common geriatric syndromes and also the mental disorders in older people, and the understandings of this chapter will be tested in test 2. Then is chapter 5, geriatric assessments, will begin at week 5. Okay, among other things that we will be looking at are issues in the selections of outcome measures, history taking, and physical examinations. And a part of this will be tested in assignment 1. Next is chapter 6. We will still continue with geriatric assessment plus plan of care by week 6, and you should be able to explain or describe or discuss the findings or the assessment based on impairment, functions, and disability, and this has to be shown in assignment 1. Chapter 7 is on exercise and physical activity for all the adults, that will be discussed in week 7, and we should include the exercise capacity or some of the physiology of exercise for older people, the benefits of physical activity and exercise, and the precautions and the barriers to physical activity and exercise. And students should be able to write and teach exercise for older persons, and this must be shown in assignment 2 as well. Chapter number 8 is on physiotherapy and geriatric rehabilitations. We will be looking specifically on falls in older people, and we'll be discussing this in week 8. Okay, and we have to look at the epidemiology of falls, the risk factors for falls, and what can we do to prevent false, and also to deal with all the people who has a history of false, and this knowledge has to be embedded. You have to write outcome from this in assignment 2. Okay, chapter number 9 is on physiotherapy and geriatric rehabilitation for hospitalized elderly. Okay, so we'll be looking at the epidemiology and hazards of hospitalizations and how to manage hospitalized elderly. Chapter number 10 is still we are looking at physiotherapy and our role in geriatric rehabilitation, but now we will be focusing on the community and the residential aged care, still looking at the epidemiology and hazards in the community and institutionalizations, and what can we do, or how can we reach the community and those living in the institutions. And the final chapter will be looking at physiotherapy and geriatric pharmacology, and we will discuss what are the common problems of polypharmacy, the common adverse drug reactions in older adults that actually interfere with physiotherapy interventions, and what are the reasons for poor compliance to medications in older people, and looking at the most important topics is for us to understand the medication problems that really affect our work. When we are seeing the patients after they have taken their medications, we need to know, we need to be able to identify whether their presentations is due to the effect of the medications or it's just a normal aging symptoms. Alright, so now come to the assessments. Okay, so for this semester, due to the pandemic, there will be no final exam closed book for you. Okay, so we have planned for you two types of assessment, but you will have 4 assessments. Okay, so you have test 1, which represent 20% from the total 100%. Okay, which will cover learning outcome number 1. Okay, the format is either short essay questions or structured questions, or MCQ, or a mixture of SEQ and MCQ. Okay, and we will be sitting the test 1 I think by the 7th week. Okay, and test 2 is another 20% to cover your understanding on half of the topic in CLO1. Okay, and the format is also similar to test 1. We should be sitting for this test by week 13. Right, next is the assignment 1, which contribute quite a huge percentage to the total assessment. Okay, this assignment 1 will actually answer CLO 2. You remember your learning outcomes number 2, and the format is on based on your video productions. Okay, and the due date should be by the 11th week. And lastly is your assignment 2, which is also a very big portion to your total percentage of your assessments. Okay, that will cover your learning outcomes number 3, and the format of the assessment is in the form of a scoping review, and also as what will be described to you later. And the due date is the last It's on the 14th week of the semester. Okay, so the marking rubrics for assignment number 1 and number 2 will be given to you as soon as possible or before week 7. Okay, if you have not received any of the rubric by week 7, please remind me. Okay, right. So how do you do assignment 1? Okay, so the purpose of doing assignment 1 is to demonstrate the ability to perform assessment for older people based on the updated SOP for geriatric assessments, to plan and execute treatment intervention for older people, to analyze patients' conditions supported with research evidence. How do you do it? So this is an individual task. You will be given the updated SOP for geriatric assessment. You need to analyze the SOP and create your assessment of the flow of your plan of sessions. Use whatever tool that is available. Identify an older persons that you can obtain consent. I might give you a consent form for your model to sign because the video recording will be published in the public domain. And we can continuing the process and procedure for assignment 1. You need to record each sessions of the task according to the SOP. And what you need to have in the video, you need to have a slide descriptions of the background, purpose, assessments, step by step. Each assessment must have indications of its name, purpose, procedure, until plan of treatment, problem analysis, plan of treatment, and remember the recording must fulfill the SOP assessment. The table of clinical reasonings or evidence to support the suggested interventions or exercise need to be included, and then you have to implement any of the interventions or treatment that you think will treat the patient based on your findings from your subjective and objective assessment, or maybe you want to teach them exercises. So I suggest that you at least teach a proper exercise sessions for about how many, maybe about 8 to 10 exercises only. But remember, you must have the beginning, then you must have the warming up. You must explain to the patients or your clients on the benefits of the exercise and the precautions. And then you must have sessions of cooling down. And in your video also you must have a short summary of the whole idea, or a short conclusions of your assignment 1. But however, if you have any other ideas on how to implement this assignment, you are most welcome to discuss with me. Now is assignment number 2. This is a group assignment, 3 persons in a team. You are required to conduct a scoping review and create a video or poster or brochure, create a health or patient education as the outcome on the implications from your part 1. Okay, so topics to be covered, you can choose any of this topic, the area of interest, but you need to at least narrow down the topics. Okay, and you must have review questions. Okay, at least 3 to 5 review questions. Okay, a minimum of 3, maximum of 5. Okay, so topics that you need to cover, examples: falls, dementia, Alzheimer's disease, stroke in older people, asthma, or maybe you want to do COPD in older people, sarcopenia, osteoporosis, other topics that is defined as geriatric syndromes. You probably want to write about functional training for older people, reminiscence therapy, strengthening exercise and mental health, walking exercise, home gardening. You know, what are the benefits of home gardening on the physical and the mental health, okay? Barriers to physical activity and exercise. And you can always suggest any topic that is your based on your interest, but must me and talk to me. So please write the proposal for your scoping review for me to approve the project before you continue on doing the project. Okay, so please visit this website to see examples for a scoping review protocol. You can download the protocol and follow exactly the steps, the procedures. Okay, it's just that because you have a different topic, you may have a different content, but the process, the steps in developing the protocol until finally you actually write the full scoping review, you can follow the protocol exactly like what you will read in this website. Okay, with regards to timeline for project, you can begin by the second week of your semester, and of course we will continue discussing on this matter, because I'm sure some of you are still very vague with especially the two assignments, assignment 1 and assignment 2. So these are the recommended texts for your references, okay? And definitely it's very important for you, okay? It's very crucial for you. The utmost important is for you to look at, to read letters, journals, what I define as updated or up-to-date journals is those published about 5 years ago. Okay, so it means that from 2016 to 2020, classical papers or journals is those before 2016. Okay, so I think for the lengthy explanations about the topics that will be covered, alright, and also the flow of the assessments, alright. Okay, so hopefully we'll be meeting soon, and all the best to you all.